The federal monitor overseeing Rikers Island says outside intervention is needed to oversee security for the city's troubled jail complex. In a letter to the judge before an emergency hearing into conditions at the facility, the monitor, Steve Martin, said Rikers was suffering a crisis of leadership with hazardous conditions and a lack of staff threatening everyone's safety. On the Brian Lehrer Show on WNYC Radio, the mayor announced he will tour Rikers next week and defended why it's taken so long.
There are different approaches to leadership. Some people, honestly, bluntly, are heavy on the symbolism. That's great. I get it. My approach, for better or for worse, is I want to solve the problem. And that took a lot of time and energy, but we are getting the changes we need, and the situation is changing as we speak.
The mayor cited a faster intake process and a list of sanctions and incentives to get people back to work at the jail complex. The mayor now saying that he feels that work is moving forward and it's time to go to Rikers himself.
I'm certain what I'm going to see is what I already have heard such very vivid, clear reporting on, what the continued challenges are. But I'll go and do it.
But Martin told the judge that the city has made no significant progress to alleviate conditions at Rikers since his last report, writing, "The city's and department's plans have a significant void. They do not address the ubiquitous mismanagement and prevalent security failures within the jails." He further wrote, stated bluntly, "The city's and the department's plans are not sufficient to address the imminent risk of harm to people in custody and staff flowing from poor operations of the jails." Republican Councilman Joe Borelli made a surprise visit to Rikers on Thursday.
The conditions at Rikers Island were absolutely appalling for both correction officers and inmates alike.
And in a letter to the president and attorney general, 8 Democratic members of New York's congressional delegation called on the Justice Department to open a civil rights investigation into the conditions of confinement of detainees. They also want the Biden administration to provide federal intervention to stabilize a situation that has resulted in 12 deaths this year. Congressman Richie Torres was one of the signees, calling it a humanitarian crisis.
If Rikers Island were a country, it would be declared a failed state. It's become the most stateless and lawless and dangerous place in the United States. And that's no exaggeration.
Now, in his report to the judge, Martin reported that use of force by officers, including head strikes, remains high, and that incidents in intake are 170% higher than in August of last year. 12 inmates have died at Rikers this year. An inmate at the facility's jail barge suffered a medical emergency and died on Wednesday.